Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new lesson. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy. In this lesson, we are looking at like and then unlike things. Taking a critical look at it is very important before we enter into addition and subtraction of algebraic expressions. We look at some mistakes students usually make and then how to correct them as well. So without much ado, let's quickly look into it. So talking of like terms, there are terms that have exactly the same variables raised to the same powers. So take note, it should be the same variables. On top of that, the powers of the variables should be the same. Now, to understand that, I'll be writing out some terms so that we determine whether or not they are like terms. We have 3x and then 5x. Now, 3x and then 5x, are they like terms? Let's go to our definition and then we'll be able to tell if they are alike or not. We said they should have the same variables. So there's x here and then there's x here. On top of that, they say they should have the same powers. If you have an x as a variable, the number you have here on top as its power or exponent or index should be the same. That is what this second line here means. So they all have the same variable, which is x and then x, and then the powers are all 1. So we can conclude by saying what? They are like terms. If we take 2a squared and then 7a squared, the coefficient isn't even important at this point. The coefficients can always be different or they can be the same. But for us to determine whether they are like terms, we pay close attention to the variables and the powers on the variables. There is a here, there is also an a here. Now that first test is what gone. Variables are the same. Then the powers are also the same. So we can also say that they are like. What of 4xy and then xy? Now the variables we have here, they are xy. Take note, xy and then xy. They are the same. And looking at the powers on these variables, they are also the same. So we can also say these are also like terms. But if you have x, 5x, and then 5y, can we say they are like? No, because they don't even pass the first test. The variables are not the same. This is x, and then this is y. So with that, we say they are unlike. They are unlike. On the other hand, 2x squared and 2x, though the variables are the same, the powers on the variables are not the same. They have different powers, and hence we can also say they are unlike. Hence, for two or more variables to be like, we said they should have the same variables, and also the powers on the variables should be the same. One might ask, is there even a need for us to know this or these like and then unlike terms? If you have 3 apples and let's say 2 oranges, you can conclude that yes, you do have 5 apples because they are all apples. On the other hand, if you have 3 apples and this time not 2 apples but then oranges, are you then going to say you have 5 apple oranges? No, you still have 3 apples and 2 oranges. The reason being that apples and then oranges are not like terms, but then apples and apples are like terms. This is the essence of what? Knowing like terms and unlike terms. With that said, let's look at the mistakes students make when solving questions in relation to like and then unlike terms, even before going to addition and subtraction. Now, I'm going to call the first set of mistakes the power up mistake. What do they do? If you have x plus x, some students write it as x squared. But no, this is wrong. X plus x is never x squared, but rather x plus x gives us a 2x. We only get x squared when we multiply, and that is x times x. That is what gives us our x squared. This is the first mistake students make. The next mistake is mixing variables with constants. Some students do mix up variables with constants, and it is not the right thing to do. Typical example is when you have 5x, then you add it to what? 3. They think it is equal to 8x, but no, that is not true. These are not like things. Hence, if you have 5x and you want to add it to 3, it still remains 5x plus 3. There is nothing you can do about it if they are not like terms. And this is the essence of learning what like terms. Another mistake is some students do ignore the powers when solving. They ignore the what? The powers. So with that, if you have a question such as 4x squared plus 2x, they solve this and then they get 6x cubed, or some even try to get 6x squared. No, that is also wrong. Take note, we said they are like terms if only the variables are the same and the powers on the variables are also the same. Over here we have 2, but here there is 1, but it's not written. Hence, 4x squared plus 2x remains just as it is. One last mistake that is mostly seen among students is the invisible one. They ignore the invisible one. What do I mean by they ignore the invisible one? If you have questions such as your 5y, then plus your y, they just say 5y plus y gives us 5y. This is totally wrong. Remember, we said if there is no number attached to a variable, there is 1 over there. And hence, if you want to add, you have 5 of the y's, adding it to 1 more of y. That is going to give you a 6y and not a 5y. So these are petty mistakes you need to be able to correct before we start addition and subtraction proper. As usual, I'll leave you with some questions. Try on your own just to test your understanding. So here are just 5 questions, as you can see, to test your understanding on what we've done so far. I do hope this lesson was helpful. Let's have Beyond Numbers where we learn maths the way. If there's any issue of concern, you can always let me know at the comment section and I'll address that for you. If this is your first time on this channel, you can subscribe if you so do wish, so that anytime I release a video, you'll be notified as well. See you in our next lesson, and bye for now. Stay safe.